So I'm just doing a water change on this nice little aquarium, and then the next thing I'm going to do is test up the water, and water permitting, I'm then going to add some new fish to this tank, which desperately needs some fish, seeing there was a heater malfunction last winter. Restocking time. One of the things that's important to do every service is have a check on the condition of the fish. And now if you look at the belly of this fella, he's just a little bit skinny. You can see his belly sort of goes up just a little bit. So he really needs a little bit more food, this guy. So let's have a look at this jaguar. He won't turn side on. He looks pretty good. Maybe a tad on the skinny side as well. So just keeping an eye on the fish and their condition is something that's really important that you do every service. And if in doubt, shoot us a little video through and we can comment on it for you. But these guys need a little bit more chow. They're a little bit skinny. I've just tested the water. There's basically no ammonia. There's a tiniest bit of nitrite. There's basically no nitrate. The pH is good, about 7.6. The KH is good, about 6. And the GH is good, it's about 9. So when I do the water change now, I'm going to start topping the tank up. I'm going to add plenty of fraction to make sure that there's no chlorine going in. Every few sort of 5 centimeters as it goes up, as it add some. You want to redose it for the whole tank several times. That'll also help to detoxify the nitrite, which isn't going to be a bad thing. And I'm going to raise the GH just a slight bit. So if I tip that in there, and dose that as the water goes up, then I should be in a good position and I get to add some new fish in. I have had people ask why I carry 2 of these around, and the reason why I carry 2 of these around is that being a professional fish consultant, it really sucks to rock up at someone's house and you've ran out of KH indicator or something like that. So for me, having 2 of them is just where I carry backup product, just in case one of them runs out. Then there's more chance that I'm going to have a replacement, so I can not rock up and not be able to adequately test the water. So a good thing to do at home if you've got a lot of tanks or you've got a lot of money's worth of the tanks, having backup is a really good thing. Now dosing this tank is particularly easy. Here's the access hole for the top of the aquarium. If I want to raise the GH just a little bit, I'll get my GH product. Done. And then I'll get my KH product. Done. So that might see a very small raise in GH and KH. Then I'll add the water ager regularly until the tank's nice and full. In a tank this big, it can take a surprisingly long amount of time to raise that much, like well over an hour. And what's so good about this tank is it's got an overflow drain. So if you were to forget filling up this tank, then the worst thing that could happen is you chlorine flush your fish, which is not a good thing. But at the same time, you're not going to put waste all through the water. Through the lounge room, because it won't overflow. That gravel really needs a clean. It's super dirty. So we need to send the diver in there to stir that up pretty urgently. So now I've been acclimatizing these fish into the buckets just by adding water from the tank into here. And now they're ready to be released. And releasing these fish is as simple as topping over a foam box. One down. Out the next ones. The applause downstairs. You never ever get sick of watching a new fish swim around a new environment.
Yeah.
There's just something really nice about that.
This?
Well, this guy has lived at Majestic Aquariums for many, many years.
Really?
Because he's a shop pet that up until now the boys won't let us sell it.
Right.
But I stole him today.
Really?
The thing is, the boys might like him, but he's going to be happier here.
Yeah.
So I'd rather him be here where he's happy, and he'll get really big too. Like,
Really?
I think it's a she, but she will grow bigger, and then depends how well she gets along with this guy,
Right.
the Jag. So you got a Tiger Oscar,
Yeah.
that one. Then you've got a Jaguar, is the one you already had.
Yeah. Yeah. That goes. Yeah.
Then you got a Dovii, which is called a wolf cichlid,
Right.
and that's a Jaguar cichlid.
Uh-huh.
And then the butter cofferi, the butter cichlid, he's there.
Okay.
And he'll grow to be a beautiful feature. He's a red albino Oscar.
Oh.
A red albino Oscar, and then you got a Tiger Oscar. And this guy's a bit skinny. See, his belly's a bit skinny.
Yeah.
The one you had. Stuart Diver, the survivor.
You didn't bring any food with you, did you?
No, but you
That is
you
Stuart
definitely.
Diver.
Yeah,
He was my favourite.
I know, he was one we
Last
already
time.
had similar, hey.
Really sad when the other one died.
Look at that, that's a big one. Is it?
Are they the same species as orange one and this tiger stripe one?
So this orange one is a red Tiger Oscar. Sorry, red albino Oscar.
Yep.
And that one is a Tiger Oscar.
Right.
And then this one's a Jaguar. And that one's a Dovii or a wolf cichlid.
Okay.
So that they'll all grow and they all should be nice and happy.
Are they pretty young?
Oh no, they're not young. They're not old, but they're not young. No. We really need that magnet.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
Have to get it sorted.
And
so the new fish are all getting along well. What will happen now is for about 3 days we're going to see a bit of fighting, because what's going to happen is they're going to want to establish their dominance. So this will normally last about 3 days. So I would be expecting the Jaguar to stay as the dominant fish, but he might need to kick a little bit of ass just to show that he is the boss. And once they succumb to the fact that he's the boss, normally they'll get along. But if, for example, someone wants to challenge him, then there might be a bit of a top dog war until they sort that out. And with mixing fish, when you don't have many fish, how well each individual fish get along becomes a major issue. When you've got lots of fish, how well individual fish get along is not such an issue, because their distraction is diverted through amongst all the other fish. So in general, fish will get along better when there's more fish. When there's less fish, it's like the bully in an empty schoolyard compared to the bully in a busy schoolyard. And the other thing is that when there's not many fish around, to a lot of species of fish, that would indicate danger. So therefore they tend to be a little bit more stressed and wary when there's not too many fish. When there's a lot of fish around, then they assume there's no danger, and they actually tend to stress less, and they tend to get along better, because they tend to be more agitated if they're stressed, and they can be stressed due to wondering where everybody else is. Because in the wild, if everyone else is not there, that's because there's a problem. And now we just got to let these guys muck around until they work out who's who, and they might lose a couple of fins in the process, but then normally they're going to be fine. Once they sort out who lives where and they sort the dominance out, normally the dominance will last about 3 days, and then they'll normally settle down. But all of it comes down to, will your dog get along with my dog? What I mean by that is that each fish has got their own personalities. So some fish get along and other fish don't. Yeah, so they'll have a little bit of a row until they work out who's the boss. And then once they work out who's the boss, then they normally calm down.
I think kissing or fighting?
Oh no, that's fighting. Yeah.
Fighting.
Because so what they're wanting to do is to set their hierarchies. And then after a few days, normally they will have that sorted.
Are you sure they're not kissing?
They're not kissing, no. Unless that's some sort of interesting ritual that you might be into. No, they're fighting.
How do you even let him go?
And where's the one that was already in here? Is he okay?
Just waiting for him to let go of Stuart.
Oh my gosh. Is that Stuart who's flying me?
Stuart.
No!
Doing CPR.
No! Stuart, so you're dominant. Stuart's been here for...
Stuart.
I hope Stu wins.
No, he won't win. No.
Why?
No, he won't. No, but
Stuart's fine.
he'll just have to show, like this guy will just have to show Stuart that he's the boss, and then normally it would be okay.
Why is that called a boss?
Oh, just the species it is.
Right.
So in this tank, it doesn't mean that will happen, by the way. But let's say a Rockwheeler and a Labrador,
Yeah.
like usually you'd expect the Rockwheeler to win. It doesn't necessarily mean that'll be the case.
Yeah.
So
So who's a robot in this situation?
the new one. So the wolf.
I didn't.
It looks like it's sort of a little bit snagged.
Yeah, it's only cool.
It looks like they're caught. He's not doing that on purpose, but he should. Look, the Oscars come over to go, what are you idiots doing?
Do we need to break them up?
Obviously, getting in there to break them up sort of isn't really realistic. But yes, if that was a small fish tank and I could reach my hand in, yes, I'd just break them up. But he looks like he's just snagged a little bit of But they should figure that out. So he's a little. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's a sucker for punishment. He wasn't snagged. He was just trying to win. See, once he gives up, he'll run away. But at the moment, he's the old fish and he's the new fish.
Yeah.
So he wants to tell him, hey, this is my house, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
But that's probably not going to happen. So what will probably happen is this guy will give that guy a bit of a once over. And then once that guy realises, hey, this guy's going to beat me up, then normally he'll run away.
Keep going.
And then usually for a period of time,
Stuart was.
Just chasing him.
that would be unusual. That's not impossible. But while Stuart's all new, while Stuart's the old one, he might have a chance.
Yeah.
But once
As long as they don't all the newbies gang up on Stuart.
what normally ends up happening is that guy will find a home, and then Stuart's not allowed near his home. That's what I'd normally expect to happen. But they've got to sort this stuff out. That's why it takes about 3 days. Because I'm going to expect that guy is going to stay the boss.
Yeah.
That's my guess. The wolf is going to be second, and then probably Stuart.
Yeah.
And then but each one have to have their own little interaction.
Yeah.
So just like, see, these two are sizing each other up.
Yeah.
And then once they work it out, then they have to work it out with the other ones. See, Stuart's causing a lot of trouble. Stuart's not running away.
Stuart's been bored. Stuart's been bored
Good
for
on
the
you,
last
Stuart.
couple of weeks.
Because when he lets him go,
he's
Stuart,
goalie.
he doesn't run away. He just comes
Yeah.
back for more.
He's goalie.
Oh.
Oh, now
where's
he's
the
getting
butter?
in there as well.
Now, actually, here's something else you might see. See this guy? It's very popular, very common. He'll come and break it up.
Oh, how funny.
This is not unusual. So if he is a good boss, he won't want them fighting. Because what happens with fish very commonly is the one that's the top dog, he likes the arrangement the way it is.
Right.
So what will commonly happen is when other fish fight, he'll run in and break it up because he doesn't want them changing hierarchy because that threatens him.
The hero.
Yeah, of course.
And then as you add more fish, the fighting becomes less problem. Because there's...
So you're probably better off adding less fish at a time.
No, it's more. It's probably better adding more because it overwhelms what's in there. Because you see, what you got to remember is that up until now, the Jaguars probably lived here, and everyone agrees to that. Stuart's lived here, and everyone agrees to that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's new players in the pack. And see, what I would have liked to have done, but nothing's easy in this tank because it's so big. But is if you rearrange the decorations.
Oh, it could kind of reset everything.
Exactly, it disorientates the fish that are in there. So therefore the new fish are more likely to get a home. So that's something we normally do. But,
there's not too many homebodies in there for them to fight with. Yeah, plenty of room.
Yeah, so that's when they fight the most. When there's more fish around, they tend to fight less.
Wow. Location.
Now where's the butter coffee gone?
Alright, I might go up and start doing a bit more of the dinner. Alright, we'll go and get on dinner.
Okay, so the way this aquarium is run is there's a very large pond filter in there which is used for mechanical filtration, and that is cleaned on a semi-regular basis, but due to COVID and lockdowns and all this other crap, we actually haven't been here for a while, so it needs a really good clean. Now through the back of this is a big tube that's full with marine pure, and then we've got two big tubes, and then we've got a pump at this end that sucks through the marine pure, and then we've got a pump at that end that sucks through the marine pure. There's the butter copperai cichlid. Oi! He's going to be very happy in here. And the dovii and the Braziliensis seem to have temporarily settled things down. That guy will be a real feature when he settles in. Okay, so what's going on over here? We've got lights. We've got an override button to turn the lights on and off, which works with the timer. Then in here, we've got our water change tap. Then what we have here is an air pump. Now this air pump is plugged in just here. That one connects to that, and these things here are the transformers for the water pumps. One there and one there. So those two transformers, they're running the water pumps that are in the tank. Now there's also a pump that's plugged in just here. That there is the plug for the pump that runs the internal filter. So there's one pump there. There's your aeration. There's your air pump that runs the aeration. Here's the transformers that run the pumps. And then here are your transformers for the lights. And then there's the heater controller. So that's about all that goes on here. It's a very simple design. And there's Stuart fighting again. And Stuart actually seems to be winning temporarily. Chasing the wolf cichlid away. Good fun.